Recorded live from the secret underground lair of Crimson Cowl Comics and Collectibles, this is the Crimson Cowl Comic Club Podcast.
The following issues may contain spoilers. Into every generation, there is a podcast about comic books. I'm Anthony.
I'm Kirby.
And I'm Katie.
Welcome to issue number 334 of the Crimson Cowl Comic Club podcast. Each and every time we record, we talk about comic books. We won't have any club discussions this week, but as a reminder, we'll be talking about the upcoming issues of Uncle Scrooge, Earth's Mightiest Duck, with issue number 2, which I believe is officially out at the moment. So once we get everybody's copies in hand and schedules and send out the Canadian duck symbol over to D. Brad, and we'll try to get everyone together for that one. We're going to address that the Batman Deadpool that we were going to talk about, the upcoming Marvel DC crossovers. We did mention that we are going to talk about it as a club discussion, but once Jim and Katie had filled me in on some information, apparently it is a print exclusive to encourage sales at the comic shop, at least for now, which kind of put us in a bind and not allowing everyone to get copies of that. So we will kind of suspend that for the moment and kind of see what happens. But I guess at this moment we won't talk about them as a club, but if anybody wants to talk about them individually, that is obviously welcome. So yeah, and then we'll figure out some more upcoming club picks, hopefully, as we dive through the previews later on in the news segment, talking about the September 2025 catalog. At the time this is recorded and at the time this is posted, that will have passed, but it's always good to talk about that stuff, especially because things can be purchased the week of, especially if they have a digital option as well. All right, and then this show, we will have the weekly reviews. That's where we also go back and forth, talk about the books that we've been reading, whether they're new, whether they're old. We're going to talk about them there. So let's dive right into the weekly reviews. First up for me is Yelp, Yeti, Chaos in Kathmandu. 10-year-old Dev and his pet cat Tuna discover a Yeti living amongst them in their home city of Kathmandu in Nepal. No one believes all of the mess and chaos is created by a mythical beast, but Dev and Tuna get the blame instead. Determined to prove his innocence, Dev turns to his kooky friend June for help of the spiritual kind. When that doesn't get results, Dev turns hunter and traps the Yeti. Oh, he turns hunter and traps the Yeti, only to discover it is a harmless creature in need of his help. Dev and Tuna manage to communicate with the kind creature and agree to help him find a way home to the mountains. This is done by Sena Pradhan and Pramana Suresta. This was something in our previews segment in a past episode a couple months ago that I just saw Yelp Yeti, and I'm like, all right, I'm in on the title. What's going on here? And I see this cute, adorable looking Yeti just kind of, trying to silently hide behind here. And I just thought it was a brilliant title. I buy a lot of things with involving Sasquatch and Yeti and all that kind of stuff. And this was a very worthy addition to that collection. So yeah, as I talked about in the preview, there is that Dev is a young boy, hangs out with his cat Tuna, and what's really fun is that this story really kicks off right from the start. We get a little look into Kathmandu in Nepal, so we see a lot of just the culture and the friendships and the architecture, and there's just a lot of awesome artwork to kind of really kind of put you into this here. They're known for a lot of the mountains and everything, so you see a lot of that stuff. But very quickly on page 7, we see the Yeti, who is kind of running past our scene as Dev and Tuna are just hanging out having some watermelon outside. And then the book is basically off to start. Dev is trying to talk to his family. His grandmother's kind of watching him. The parents are away at the moment. But he keeps talking about, like, I just saw this Yeti. I just saw this Yeti. Everyone's basically ignoring him. A Yeti in summer, you're not going to see that. And Dev has a moment of, this is all very early on stuff to just kind of show without spoilers and stuff. Dev is kind of wondering if he maybe overreacted and maybe saw things, being like, "Hey, maybe I've been watching too much TV." Because he goes, "Well, maybe the Yeti is on holiday. They could love sunbathing just as much as you, Grandma." Blah blah blah. And there's a little imaginary bubble there of the Yeti just chilling out underneath an umbrella with a nice umbrella drink and stuff. And so you kind of set the scene that, like, all right, maybe I am kind of just overreacting. Talking about the architecture and buildings, there's an awesome 2-page sideways spread here to kind of show basically the Yeti invading the house. So you see Dev down there rather, and you just see different spots of the house, and you see the Yeti hiding under the bed, and there's just a Yeti going through, hiding behind Grandma with a lampshade on its head, sneaking some food. This book just is telling you just how fun this story is going to be. The rest I'll just kind of share bits and pieces of, show some more architecture and stuff like that. Looking into the creators, they're definitely from that area, and they very much work. This Flying Eye Books here, I think, is based out of London, if I'm not mistaken. But they have these the South Asian culture and creators and everything like that, and you can definitely see just how authentic it is. And one fun thing that I really liked is, as you meet some of these characters in the book, you basically get like almost like trading card little intros to them. So I mentioned a friend, June. So you get a quick glimpse of her, and you get a little bio, you get some stats, and they do this for several of the characters throughout the book. Kind of a real cool way to kind of just really jump in without needing to get all that context within dialogue and stuff. Having a little, stat cards there is a pretty fun way of doing it. I'll show off some more fun art of the Yeti. I just love the design. It's very playful, very, very fun. If you'd see this Yeti out in the wild, maybe the initial shock of not seeing something quite like this before, but especially if it's running around with a nice, scarf around it and got a very cotton candy type of uh, appearance to it, and I think everyone would just be like, "Hey, I want to go hug that Yeti." So, but yeah, this book is a lot of fun. I was very excited to find out by the last page, no spoilers, but the last page just literally advertising um, a book called Yelp Yeti Everest Ever After, which is just a fun title. So it sounds like that we are going to get some more adventures with this Yeti and Dev, and hopefully more of Tuna the cat. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. This is exactly what I wanted it to be. Just light and fluffy, and I'm just talking about the Yeti right now. But yeah, super fun book. I follow both of the creators immediately, and I'll be closely watching what they come out with next. So that was Yelp Yeti, Chaos in Kathmandu. Check it out.
Yetis are too hairy to get a suntan for their nose, fingers, and toes.
Well, you have to read the book to see what really happens.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got?
All right, we got Beetle Bailey's Big Book, issue 1 from 1992.
Yeah.
Stories and art by Dave Breger, and others. Mort Walker's Sad Sack Soldier returns to comics in reprints of the old Charlton series. Sarge gets a little too close when Beetle plays pool blindfolded. Beetle and his barracks mates want to get rid of a rat, but they're not quite on the same page. Sarge takes a break in town, but can't adjust to civilian life. Forced hike. Sarge goes to town and then Sarge gets the air, and then Killer's Catch, and then Morning Grouch, Feathers for Sarge, Coach Fudd, Daydreaming on Duty, Hot Shots, Tacky Duty, The Rat Trap, The Advertising Genius, Sharp Retort, Moon or Bust. For all the different stories in here, I don't remember reading that many different stories, but there were quite a few. But yeah, it's 52 pages of reprints. I feel like they were redrawn and redone because they just have a little cleaner look to them and stuff. And some of the, I'd like to go back and get double check with my Charltons because I recognized a few of the stories in here and just double check to see if they changed the word balloons up at all. But yeah, Sarge goes through all kinds of fun things, of course, getting picked on, getting in trouble, Beetle's shooting fool blindfolded, and he's going on about Sarge and doesn't know Sarge is in the room with him, and then he accidentally hits him with the pool cue and stuff. Beetle has to go on a walk to pass a certain test, but the corporal makes Sarge go with him to make sure that it's done right. And then Beetle has some stuff happen where he wants to cut the trip short, but Sarge doesn't want to, no matter how much pain he goes through, because he knows if he doesn't get Beetle to finish the hike, he'll have to do it all over again with him. Yeah, Feathers for Sarge was one where they were out in the woods camping, and Zero goes off for Sarge with Sarge's pillowcase, and to make him comfortable out in the woods, was supposed to get some goose feathers, and instead he just finds a goose, throws the goose in the thing. This one was the only one that didn't really hit with Beetle Bailey. None of these characters are really part of Beetle Bailey, so I'm not really sure why, but they have a football story in here where this coach just goes off on the team, making them practice double hard, and then they end up too sore to, well, when they show up to the game that day, they're all basically wearing cast and stuff and on crutches. But yeah, that one was a little. I like how when you see the reprints of the Disney books, they tell you where each of the reprints came from. I wish they would have done that in here, so it'd be easier for me to look up. But yeah, I'm curious why that is considered a Beetle Bailey story. And like, yeah, they said we're talking about the rat trap one where the guys have food in their foot lockers and on shelves, and a rat keeps eating it and stuff. And so they're all set up ready to catch the rat outside the rat hole. And Beetle comes in all mad at Sarge, and they're going on about the rat. And Beetle thinks that they're talking about Sarge being the rat. So he goes after Sarge and starts throwing things at him and stuff and gets him in trouble. But yeah, this is fun. It just looked like a lot of, like all the cartoon work and stuff was just cleaning up and stuff. So I'm guessing that Dave Breger probably did some updating on the artwork and stuff. And then I want to look at the word balloons just because some of the things seemed more up to date, first country type stuff. But yeah, it was a lot of fun as usual. It's just nice to look at a newer, cleaner Beetle Bailey after all my torn up ones. They're so sad, but I'll never let them go.
Well, on a related note, what showed up in the mail today was Mort Walker's Beetle Bailey, The 75 Years of Smiles. I talked myself out of this for a couple months until it actually came out, and then I'm like, all right, I need to have it.
I know I wanted that.
So yeah, I didn't dive into it yet. Just wanted to kind of show some of the interior stuff because trying to look for some of this stuff, you don't always see the inside materials. I didn't see anybody review it other than one of Mork's sons that was on an interview for Comics Kingdom talking about it. But yeah, it has a lot of like story elements here, learning about Mort Walker and his family and the creation. You see a lot of doodles and sketches and some of like, original panels. This goes through the 75 years of this. You see some personal artwork and stuff from Mort Walker. I know in previous books that I've read, including things of if he was giving like greeting cards and stuff to cartoonist friends. So like things that were only meant, privately were included in that book in the past. But yeah, just going through literally 75 years and showing the origin stuff, and you're seeing some rough sketches and black and white ones, and some that are kind of faded out. But then as you get through the years, you definitely, as I flip through the book here, you definitely get into some more modern kind of what Kirby was talking about with the sharper lines and the coloring and stuff. So you see examples of that kind of stuff as well. But yeah, so if anyone's looking to get this, like I said, there's not a lot of resources online kind of showing you the inside. There's definitely a lot of Sunday strips that are included in here, but it's also mixed in with story stuff and behind the scenes and everything like that. So yeah, good time to bring that up with Kirby bringing Beetle to the table. So
Yeah, if we didn't move, I would have jumped on it. I have to wait for now.
I said, I'm like, nope, I don't need it. I don't need it. And then I just saw it was available, and I'm like, okay, I need it. Okay, we are going to jump over to Katie. What you got for us?
All right, this week I have Lilo and Stitch number 5. This is continuing the series we've been reviewing the past few weeks. It's written by Greg Pak. The art is by Giulia Giacomino. They are also doing the coloring. And color assistance by Simona Guida. And letterer is Jeff Eckelberry. All right, so this is starting a new arc in the Lilo and Stitch comics. Lilo has been summoned by the Galactic Federation to be presented with a very great honor. So they come on down in their spaceship, pick her up. Nani says, absolutely not. You are not taking my sister across the galaxy without my permission. So the aliens make some calls and are like, yeah, you can come. She's like, yeah, good, because I was coming. So they get there, and the head councilwoman of the Galactic Federation is like, hey, you've done such a great job taming Experiment 626, which is Stitch, and turning him good and teaching him how to be good, that we would like you to help us with another monster. So there is a space dinosaur that's tearing up the waterfront of this resort town on a planet, and they are like, okay, Lilo, fix this for us. And Nani, being the voice of reason again, is like, you have an entire team of people that could fix this. You have Captain Gantu, who's that kind of shark alien looking dude that's kind of mean, but also like sort of on the good guy side, I guess. And they're basically, she's like, well, why do you want Lilo to help? And Lilo just does it because she's kind-hearted and very sweet and all. So, and Lilo talks about, well, they said Stitch was a monster, and, some of the other girls aren't very nice to me, so I would want somebody to help. And, so she tries to help in her way, which is taking one of the alien spaceships, which in the past few issues we saw it can also transform and become a mech suit or a robot, and starts playing tag with this space dinosaur and getting it to engage with her and not with, the people in the town. And Lilo gets up close, does kind of a football tackle on her, and gets the dinosaur down, and then pulls off this kind of like a tracker from the Galactic Zoo that was, buzzing and like stinging her, and she really didn't like it. And problem solved. So the head councilwoman says, all right, wrap it up. We'll take her back to the zoo. And Lilo says, well, she doesn't want to go back to the zoo. That's why she escaped in the first place. And you put this tracker on her that was, hurting her and really annoying her. So we should take her back home. Well, turns out she can't go back home because her home is where the new waterfront was built. So her home got torn up, and they put up a big resort area. So now we're left with the question of, well, where are we going to take this giant space dinosaur? Well, ends up going home with Lilo back to Hawaii, and we'll catch up with that in issue 6. Very fun issue. It's, definitely an all ages issue. So, if you're an adult reading it, like, set your expectations that this is for young and young at heart. If you're a big Stitch fan who doesn't read a lot of comics, I think you'll really enjoy this. It's not hard to get into. It's not asking you to make, a commitment to decades worth of comics, or, be able to understand all these references to get it. It's fun. It's colorful. The characters look like themselves. There's a nice little moral lesson in each one. Like, for instance, the bee story in this is Stitch learning about invasive species and what that does to an ecosystem and why we have to be careful to live with the land versus working against it and introducing things that won't thrive in that area. Really cute, super fun. You can read it yourself. You can read it with your kids. I'm having a good time with this series. We'll pick it up next round in issue 6.
Cool. All right. Keeping with the kind of cryptid, mythological type characters, I have a graphic novel called Who Killed Nessie? A cozy comedy murder mystery with a monstrous twist. Lindsay Grockle has just started a new job at an isolated hotel. She's trying to get over heartbreak. She's amazed to be left in sole charge just before a big convention. When the terrifying guests start to arrive, she realizes why. This is a gathering of the fantastic beasts of myth and legend. The attendees ask her to stay in her room and let them be. But when the Loch Ness Monster is found dead, there's nobody else they trust to solve the murder. She may not entirely believe in them, but they believe in her. That's a great line. Lindsay is going to have to dig deep into her own fears and vulnerabilities to discover who killed Nessie. This is done by Paul Cornell and Rachel Smith. This came across my feeds, I think, last year through a Zoop campaign. So I was very happy when a package showed up in the mail that I didn't remember what it was, and because it was last year, I believe. And I'm like, oh, yes, here we go. Who Killed Nessie? I dove into it right away. This here, now I read this a while ago, like, a week or two ago. I'm trying to remember the how graphic it is, because the Yelp Yeti one is a very kid-friendly, all ages type of whatever. Even though this one is, around a murder and stuff, I don't remember it being graphic of any sort. A lot of these characters are super fun, not much different than the one in Yelp Yeti, where everyone has a charm to them. So I don't see it listed on here, so I just don't remember the age range if this one was actually had any language and stuff like that. But anyways, so yeah, this character here is jumping into this hotel. Opening page, she's starting a new job here and very quickly finds out that she's in charge of the whole hotel by herself. She's left in charge, and the owner or manager basically runs off on, I forget where he ended up going, if he had a different conference or vacation or something, but basically she's just kind of thrown into hosting this convention. These guests are going to be coming in. She's given all these very specific rules, kind of talking about turning off security cameras, all this real shifty stuff, being like, all right, what's going to happen here that all these, but it's because it is going to be inhabited by all the people you see on the cover here. If you're just listening to us on iTunes, go to Crimson Cowl Comic Club on YouTube to check out the full video version. But yeah, so we have every version of a cryptid character you could imagine is represented in this book. And so what I really like about this is that there's a lot of the confessionals when these they're being interviewed, they're being interrogated on what they know, if they're the one held responsible. Here's a fun little page here kind of showing off. There's a mermaid there. There's a Loch Ness Monster, a couple other creatures surrounding the party there. It's just, the designs are fun. I just love the environment that they're all at this human hotel, and they're all monsters and beasts and whatever. And hey, look, we have a Yeti. It's not the one from the last book I talked about, but yeah, there are Yeti aplenty. Yeah, so this was a lot of fun. It's a great whodunit type of story. It really did keep me guessing all the way to the end. Here's an example of when they would kind of dive in on some of these interviews, as she is asking all the questions to the different creatures and such to figure out, what their relationship was with the Loch Ness Monster, where they were, this and that. And yeah, this was a lot of fun. It's a real great concept, real kind of funny angle, because I guess, if you just saw that in title just saying who killed the Loch Ness monster, you're just thinking like, all right, you got some, big game hunter people, you got monster hunters. It sounds like it could be just a very, very graphic type of, gross story in that sense. So you wouldn't really expect it to kind of take place where it's just a bunch of monsters all hanging out at a convention at a hotel. So I really like that angle to it. Just adds a lot of extra fun to it. I'll show off this image here to get another shot at some of the collection of our characters. And yeah, so real fun designs, really cool. I really dug it. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. So yeah, there's a graphic novel that was available through Zoop from Paul Cornell and Rachel Smith. I am unaware on if this book is available outside of the campaign, perhaps at their convention tables or online shops, but I don't know the distribution level beyond the Zoop campaign. But yeah, this is a lot of fun. Like I said, if you are a fan of the Loch Ness monster, just know that you're getting into just kind of a real goofy angle at a murder mystery, as far as not having some kind of quote unquote realistic take on it, which is weird to say because you're talking about realistic take on the Loch Ness monster. But I think it's a very fun gimmick to set this murder inside of a hotel. So there you go. That is Who Killed Nessie.
There's so many famous cryptids out there, you'd think they'd be easier to find.
Yep.
All right. Someone left this laying on the counter at Half Price Books, and I'm very glad they did. We got Charles M. Schultz, Peanuts, The Beagle Has Landed, Charlie Brown.
Ooh.
I'm kind of making up for not doing kids' books during Disney Week. Yeah. Charlie Brown and the gang have got space on the brain, and Snoopy leads the way as the world-famous astronaut. While the kids play space, Snoopy has got troubles of his own with the cat next door, who has taken Snoopy's supper dish. Will our favorite Beagle get his dish back in time for dinner, or will he have to travel to the moon on an empty stomach? Fire the rockets and see what happens in this all-new original graphic novel featuring Charles M. Schultz's Peanuts. And it's Snoopy's fault. Snoopy threw the dish over the thing. So he can't blame nobody else. And he made Charlie feed him like, I don't know, 8-10 times that day. So he shouldn't be hungry anymore. He kept on coming up with excuses. But yeah, when I seen this, I didn't pull it out of the bag or anything. I just figured it was going to be a bunch of Sunday comics prints like that. But no, this is done just like the animated movies that they put out, and this is probably my favorite story that I've read of the Peanuts so far, and of course because it's got Snoopy. But yeah, you see them all talking astronaut stuff. Charlie Brown takes a big donut jar cover off the counter and puts that on his head, like he's an astronaut. And Snoopy keeps picking them and on them and abusing them and forcing them to keep feeding them. So he's got enough fuel to make it up into space. And then Woodstock, of course, has to go along with Snoopy. So he's hanging out with them, and then I forgot what happened, but something happened with Woodstock and the cat. And Snoopy still would not go and deal with the cat. But when he finally does get a chance, I nurse him getting ready, practicing to go up in space and stuff. We keep hearing that this cat is a huge cat. I want to see it. You don't get to see it in here either, just like any other time it's been stuff gets represented. That's not one of the original characters and stuff. But yeah, it's funny watching them, just all the little things that this dog is so afraid of this cat. The cat at one moment, the cat's dish came over by Snoopy, and then he got abused for that being over by him also. Cat blamed him on, but there's just like when he does his Red Baron thing, he goes off in his little space adventure. And Woodstock's along for the ride, and they get basically do the golfing on the moon and stuff like that. Woodstock, of course, has to fix something that goes wrong while they're in space. So Snoopy sends Woodstock out to do it. And just, that poor little bird's gone through so much stuff over the years. But yeah, this was very fun. I'm so glad some parent wouldn't let their kid have it and they had to put it back or something. but, but yeah, the artwork is fun. It's just, this is really enjoyable. I just very happy to get my hands on it. So
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm glad it was laid out like that instead of like newspaper clips, and one nice big story by Kaboom.
Cool. All right. So let's jump back into Lilo and Stitch. What you got, Katie?
That's right. So we are now looking at Lilo and Stitch number 6. It's the same creative team, and just a note, it's published from Dynamite Comics. Issues 1 through 4 are available right now in a trade paperback called Ohana Means Family. So in issue 6, well, they bring the space dinosaur back home to Hawaii, and she's actually pretty excited to be in a new place for, being this big giant monster. She has the personality of a golden retriever, and she is really excited to meet Stitch, even though she's about 5 times bigger than him. Stitch is not quite sure because he's like, well, we were just talking about an invasive species. Wouldn't she, and by extension me, be an invasive species? And David and Lilo are like, no, you're a person. You're not an invasive species. One of the, I'm like, well, are they invasive species? But the point is they're learning to control their badness and to live in harmony with the people around them and be a good citizen and a good steward of the land. Well, the dinosaur is named Tiny by Lilo, and she's having a good time roughhousing, playing around, but it's just apparent she's just like really big for her surroundings. So they go to Dr. Jumba and get a shrink ray gun from him and use it to shrink her down to actual dog size. And then she's all happy bouncing around. They take her out for a walk and take her to town. She wants to play with Stitch so bad, man. She's trying to hug him and wrestle with him and roughhouse and all kinds of stuff. And everyone's like, oh, wow, Lilo, you have another dog. This one's so cute. Wow. And she's having a good time. And then Tiny is she's jumping around, and then she's going to try and jump on Lilo to like give her a hug. Well, Lilo had her back turned, so she didn't see it, and Stitch tackled Tiny and pushed her out of the way and knocked her on the ground. Well, Lilo turned around and saw that, so she was very grumpy at Stitch for trying to wrestle Tiny. And Stitch says, but she was going to hit you. And Lilo says, no, you hit her. You should go home now. So Stitch is upset. He's feeling like the older sibling that's, being left out a little bit, even though he's not, he feels like that. So he goes and visits Dr. Jumba again, gets the shrink ray, because he's thinking, well, I'm going to make Tiny even tinier because she's still too big, because she's at least the same size that I am. So now he wants her to be, I don't know, fun sized. So the kids are all playing and looks like they're having a good time. And then bap goes the shrink ray. But unfortunately, it got broken. So now Tiny is back to being huge, and so is Stitch. So now we have these two monsters that are very, very big and kind of chaotic and not really aware of their size, tearing everything up, getting into a whole bunch of trouble. And it's looking pretty serious. And then Captain Gantu comes back, because they didn't really clarify this, but I guess the Galactic Federation was watching them or tracking them somehow. Okay, fine. I can work with that. He's like, all right, Lilo, I gave you a chance, and you couldn't control these two. Look at them horsing around. They're knocking down power lines and buildings and stuff. But even though the two are getting in trouble, they do try and help. So they bumped into a boat in the ocean, but they pick the boat up and stop it from beaching and breaking on the rocks, and all the people are safe. And then they take some selfies with the tourists. And then one of the representatives from the Galactic Federation said, well, hold on, Gantu. Lilo has helped make both of these monsters better. Like, they are trying, they're learning. Look at, they're problem solving together. And basically this is just, some growing pains along the road as they figure this out. Like, I don't know Lilo's exact age, but in my mind, it's like 8 or 10 or something like that. She's quite little, and they've given her this very interesting job, but because she has a lot of heart and believes in herself, she can do it. So Lilo is allowed to keep Stitch and Tiny. And guess what? Lilo, this little girl, got a promotion. She is now bestowed the title upon of Galactic Federation Socialization and Education Agent number 834. So now they're giving her a whole bunch more monsters off the spaceship that she's going to have to try and take care of. That's the end of issue 6. We'll come back in issue 7 and find out how Lilo's new monster babysitting job is going. Again, super fun. It's, cartoon action and violence. Nobody gets hurt. There's a nice message about, when you're playing, you need to be careful and like be conscious of your size so that you don't break things, because even if you aren't trying to hurt someone or mess something up, you still could, and that's not very nice. And how we shouldn't give up on people just because they have a hard time, and to remember that even if, we get another sibling or maybe our friend makes another friend, it doesn't mean that they don't love us. They still care about us. And learning about how to get along with one another. Very colorful, very goofy. I'm having so much fun with this series. I'm probably older than the target audience, but honestly, I think this target audience could be for anyone. There's nothing that says you can't enjoy this. It's a fun cartoon. So if you're like, you know what, I don't want to read something really heavy, I don't got a lot of time, or I want to read something that is just a good time, this is a nice book, and I'm actually looking forward to the next issue. A lot of fun with Lilo and Stitch number 6. Check it out.
Cool. And if you're questioning about the possible target audience of a book, may I introduce my next review, which is a little golden book, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is The Power of Friendship. Join Buffy Summers and her friends from the fan-favorite TV series Buffy the Vampire Slayer in this adventure-filled little golden book for all ages. Whether it's slaying vampires, fighting monsters, or breaking curses, Buffy Summers and her friends Willow, Xander, and Giles always stick together to save Sunnydale and the world. This little golden book is perfect for Buffy the Vampire Slayer fans of all ages, so there we go, everyone's included there, as well as little golden book collectors. Little golden books enjoy nearly 100% consumer recognition. They feature beloved classics, hot licenses, and new original stories, the classics of tomorrow. I like that little catchphrase, the classics of tomorrow. This particular one is done by Virginia Murphy and Pernille Oram. All right, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm wearing the shirt right here. We've talked about the comics in the past. It's no secret that I was going to buy this book. I forgot to fill it out because it has the little golden book belongs to. So I'll make sure to fill that out after the show here. But this was adorable. The art is perfect for this. I knew I recognized the name Pernille Oram. I believe they had done some Hit Girl comics with Kevin Smith. I think that's where I just did some light research. I know I've seen that before, but this art is great for what it's going for, to do this all ages fun cartoony Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This book basically, in a way, almost covers 7 seasons of the show, but without any real spoilers of any sort. They just kind of touch on the moments, and the key thing throughout this book is the idea of friendship, talking about Buffy's friends always out there to help her. She may be the Slayer and have super strength, but she still needs her friends to back her up. We get a little lore on, the Vampire Slayers and the Watchers. It's all very, I don't want to say watered down is a bad term, but it's when referencing Angel and Spike and how they're all best friends and everything like that, they don't get into the relationships that Buffy has had with these characters beyond the friendship, if you will. You do see some images of the fighting, but then, some of the makeup, not all of the makeup. Once again, this is a little golden book. So yeah, this is a lot of fun. kind of talking about, once again, how it kind of covers the series of 7 seasons. This is just a famous scene from season 4 when Spike is being fed blood through one of Giles's cups there through a straw and tied up in a bathtub. So that's just straight out of a season 4 episode. So I like the recognition of that. It touches on some of the high school monsters and some of your favorite ones. One of the most popular episodes of Buffy is Hush, which is the gentleman characters, and where they all lose their voice for like 30 minutes of the episode. So there's a reference to that, just kind of showing the characters from behind there, because for a little golden book, if they showed those characters front facing, it might be a little horrific. There are some demons and monsters and things like that, but there's some things that need to be left to the imagination. And yeah, this is great. I just love the designs throughout. There's just real gorgeous work, and just it's fun that this exists. I know they do this now for a lot of different things. The Alien franchise, Planet of the Apes, X-Files. They got Mandalorian in there, Nightmare Before Christmas, The Haunted Mansion. So just a lot of more modern takes and stuff. So I was very happy to see that Buffy got that treatment as well, and I thought it was very expertly done by Virginia Murphy and Pernell Oram. And yeah, this was a durable, and it's a worthy piece of the Buffy collection. Check it out. All right, Kirby.
Well, it's interesting how they end up crossing something over that's more adult into the little golden books.
And fun fact, it's not so fun because it didn't happen, but once upon a time there was going to be a Buffy animated series. That's what this kind of reminded me of, just based on the designs and the more younger audience version of it. I think there's maybe 5 or 7 minutes on YouTube where they've done a test episode type of deal, like a pitch package, and I watch it. I'm like, man, I wish this animated series existed, because it was very good. So this gave me memories of that, of something that never was. So
I'd also like to see Stitch do a crossover with some cryptids. I think it would be fun, him talking to the cryptids, getting along with the cryptids, and every time he tries to show the cryptid to someone, the cryptid just disappears and they don't believe
I like
Stitch.
that idea. That's a
Definitely.
good one.
Hey, we got Space Ghost Annual #1. It's a sketch cover, that's why I have a cover for it.
Yep.
A tale too titanic to be contained in only 32 pages. After the thrilling events of issue 12's second story arc finale, the fine-tuned creative team of David Pose and Jonathan Lau pull out all the stops for their very first Space Ghost Annual. With the Council of Doom seemingly defeated, our heroes now face a terrifying new threat that strikes from beyond the fourth dimension. To have any hope of survival, Space Ghost and his crew must find a way to break the dominion of the Tempest, the Time Master. The one character, and it's kind of hard to tell because we get to see the Legion. I want to say Legion of Doom, the Council of Doom, which are all the characters that Space Ghost has fought in the past and stuff, and they're basically taken over by this one being. But from what I take, the being is basically the computer itself, and that's how because it's called Ultima. But every time they talk about Ultima, you see a different character. Like this guy is the first main baddie, and then they show a few of the other ones. But it starts out basically with Blip, the little monkey dude that has some special abilities that they still haven't delved into yet with the first volume of Space Ghost. Now the second volume just came out, which leads right off of this storyline. That's why I wanted to read this first. But this Ultima, I want to say it's the computer that's named Ultima, but they show like 5 different people when they're talking about Ultima, but they're all brainwashed by this computer being. And somehow it's using Blip's power to do all this stuff. And it basically took over the whole Council of Doom. And they're all working for Ultima and trying to take out Space Ghost, Jan, her brother, Blip, and all the everything in the universe. I mean, they say they're wiping out all the bad in the universe, but yet in order to do that, they're going to enslave everybody that they don't think is right. And so Space Ghost wants to stop him from doing that. And while that's going on, he has to battle all his old enemies throughout here. But Jan and her brother do split up. Jan goes towards Blip. He goes off to compete against one of the characters that I thought was also Ultima, because he's like riding some type of large dragon-like beast, and I don't recognize the character at all. But then we find out that Ultima is basically in the mainframe, and at one point it takes over the form of their father that was killed before Space Ghost took over for him, which I still think Space Ghost somehow is related to them in one way, shape, or form. But they deal with it. They go through a bunch of stuff with it. There's a moment where Space Ghost basically gets mind controlled also for a while and starts to turn on everybody. But then they sit there and find a way to break the hypnotic part of the whole trance. And we end up with this old man that's just beaten and battered from whatever they did to the mainframe. And I don't want to give it away, but someone appears in the end that has some well-needed information for Jan and her brother, which I think of her brother's name for some reason today. But yeah, this was a fun follow-up after Volume 1. Leads it nicely into Volume 2, which I'm going to read the first issue tonight now because I just finished reading this. Otherwise, I would have read it before the show. But I want to see what's up with this person that made an appearance in the end of this story. And I really hope that we get more information on Blip in this next volume early on, because I want to really know what. I can't remember from watching the show in my younger years if what we found out about Blip, what I think he was tested on. He was basically stuck in a scientific lab worked on, and he has all kinds of information in his brain that they were always trying to get out and stuff. So yeah, hopefully we'll find out more. But the first volume was really fun. Second volume, I'm expecting the same, but I think the second volume is not going to be laid out like first. So I think it is going to be set up for ongoing now. A lot of these runs are starting to go to ongoing now and not worrying about the short runs. So I know Herculoids too. I was hoping it was going to be a 6th issue, and now they decide they're going to keep going on with it because of the response. So, but yeah, lots of fun.
Cool. All right. I have another Buffy the Vampire Slayer thing, almost in the same vein as the Little Golden Book. We were talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the picture book. Join Buffy and her friends in their battle against the big bad in this deluxe picture book that is the perfect introduction to the beloved cult classic TV show. Buffy wasn't always the world's strongest vampire slayer. She was a kid once, too. Hang out with a pint-sized Buffy, Willow, and Xander during their sleepover, investigate strange sounds coming from the closet, seek advice from school librarian Giles, and maybe meet a few familiar Buffyverse baddies along the way. with a glow-in-the-dark cover, reversible dust jacket, which I will show off right now, which has the interior of the Sunnydale Library as the inside of the dust jacket. That was a
Very
fun
cool.
surprise. I'm always excited to see what's hidden beneath the cover. The glow in the dark stickers. Yes, there are stickers in here too. This fun, not so scary bedtime story is a great way to introduce the beloved characters to a new generation of fans. This was done by Kim Smith. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the picture book. I didn't know what I was getting into when I bought it beyond the title of the picture book. I didn't expect it to be a much bigger trim size here, which I was very happy to see. It's a great giant book here. But yeah, this is also very brilliantly illustrated. We are looking at a younger audience as far as the designs go. I would say even the little golden book probably. I think the words and the dialogue were definitely aged to a little younger crowd. I would say the art in this one is perceiving these characters as younger, so I think it might even appeal then to even a younger crowd. But yeah, we get some great images here showing off Buffy as the Slayer, but it ultimately takes place talking about when she was a child, and we see her scared in her bed here. Something that we don't see too often in Buffy when it comes to her being scared. She's definitely had her moments here, but this is a fun take on the characters, whereas the Little Golden Book kind of did like a very quick overall summary of the series without spoilers. This one here kind of takes the characters into the younger years. It's kind of like Buffy if they were Muppet Babies, but not in diapers. So yeah, this is Buffy, Willow, and Xander. You see them all just kind of in like a very young middle, young grade school. Elementary school is the term I was looking for. You just get a quick highlight of them hanging out and having fun, building forts and playing games and having sleepovers. All the things you would expect here from kids, but then it gets into the scariness here with some noises coming from the closet that Buffy is going to investigate. I will get once again kind of leave spoilers out of this. She does address Giles talking about the monster, and that's when he brings the vampire book out for these kids to see. And so yeah, then we kind of get into the lore, and they very kind of once again they treat it very lightly with this one, with just that they're not saying like, all right, you're going to be fighting all these demons and fighting the end of the world, and there's a hellmouth. We're none of those words are included in this. They don't mention the hellmouth in any of these kind of books, but it is a very adorable way to kind of put these kids onto some young adventures. And there is a great splash page. I'm not going to reveal here, kind of showing off a bunch of recognizable monsters from the series. So it's kind of cool just to pinpoint them and see them. And because I showed the back of the heads of the gentleman characters from Hush in the last review, they do have them drawn front facing in this version to kind of back up how I was saying that the drawings are more kid friendly in this one. So I will show them on the Zoom here. So there's the gentleman characters who are very scary in the TV show and take it the entire town's voices and stuff. But in here, they seem very delightful. But that's kind of the interpretation of this storybook here. I will show a portion of this just because it's an awesome big splash page of Buffy in action. So yeah, there you go. This is what you're getting with this Buffy the Vampire Slayer picture book. Once again, didn't know much. It just I bought it because it said Buffy, so I'm like, yep, add it to the collection. But both of these books I started recommending to my Buffy friends who have kids and things like that, and some that I know they're definitely going to be watching the show with their children when they get to the appropriate age. But now they have some resources to kind of get the lore started here with these younger adventures and kind of learn the characters and stuff. And then I will show off the sticker sheet. So yeah, there's an awesome sticker sheet that is included. I think those glow in the dark as well, if I read that correctly. So now I have to make the big decision on if I'm brave enough to commit these stickers to somewhere on the drawing board and things like that. It usually takes me a while to commit to sticking a sticker somewhere. So um, maybe I'll just end up buying a second book and then I can leave these ones intact. But I will put them somewhere. But all right, yeah, I think that's all I really have to say there. It's been a great time. I had the Golden Book that came out a while back. This picture book is more current with the release, and I had them both sitting there, so I figured it'd be great to double up on both of those to talk about them here. I continue to read my Buffy comics from the beginning of the Dark Horse years. We are anticipating the hopeful pickup of the Hulu, not a reboot, the continuation. Um, it is they have wrapped a pilot, and so we don't know much about it other than they have wrapped an episode, and now just has to get through the pitching process and approval, and hopefully everyone over at Hulu is smart and they like money and they want money. And they don't want angry letters because then they will pick up Buffy the Vampire Slayer, this new generation, hopefully coming soon. But in the meantime, I'll continue to celebrate Buffy that hasn't left my heart since 1997. All right. All right, I think that is going to do it then for the weekly reviews, but we do have another segment. So let's jump over to the news.
And now, the news.
All right, we're going to go through the catalogs for the previews for September 2025 for products coming out in November and beyond. At the time of this recording and the release of the episode, the orders should be closed on most of the online sites, but it always helps to go through the catalog, make your list, and sometimes there's later cutoff times for comic book shops and final order due and all that kind of stuff. So, and we're still going to talk about them, whatever books that we're excited about that were in the September catalog, starting with Marvel. This one here, I don't actually know if this was from. Yeah, this wasn't even in the actual Marvel catalog, but it's a Marvel comic. It is the Fantastic Four, This Man, This Monster, the Pan-Dimensional 3D edition. So this is from the original Stan and Jack Kirby comic, the all-time classic, This Man, This Monster, now in stunning red-blue 3D. Stan Lee's emotional roller coaster finds a spectacular new depth, literally, with Jack Kirby's mind-blowing depictions of the negative zone in brain-warping 3D. Provided by Anomaly Studios, includes 3D glasses. This Man, This Monster is referring to Ben Grimm the Thing, and I can't zoom in on this issue number. I don't know if it looks like issue number 4 or 5. It's real small, but it's not letting me bring up a bigger image on what it looks like. It's definitely one of the earlier ones of the initial Oh, here it is, issue number 51. So I guess early in the sense that this comic's been around since 1961, but the issue was issue number 51. So relatively early in the grand scheme of life. But yeah, so I'm always happy with the 3D comic conversion. I just got the Marvel Zombies one, the original Marvel Zombies that just came in the mail that was converted to 3D, so I'm excited to dip into that. But so anyways, that's my first pick. Kirby?
My only pick that's a new one, the rest are ongoing in Marvel, is Spider-Man Holiday Spectacular. This is Holiday Plans No More. Peter Parker is all alone for the holidays. Luckily, the spectacular Spider-Man has some amazing friends he can celebrate with. But can the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, the X-Men, Daredevil, and more handle winter with the wisecracking webhead? Or will the Thing have to send Spidey packing to ensure a silent night? Rainbow Rowell and a bevy of Marvel's finest artists deliver a holiday romp to all the good boys and girls who need magnificent Marvel mags. Only problem I got with this is I don't see it Jeff in the picture or any story with Jeff, so they gotta have Jeff in the holiday spectacular. Come on.
Rainbow Rowell is a great writer. She did a long run on the Runaways, bringing those characters back, and the most recent like She-Hulk stuff. And she is, think, made her career with young adult novels and stuff, but coming into Marvel Comics in the last handful of years. So, but yeah, I would agree. Jeff would need to be part of that too. Okay, anything from Marvel, Katie?
I do not.
All right. My last one from Marvel here is the Marvel Batman Deadpool. Now we just had the Deadpool Batman. Um, and this is the one that's published by Marvel first, I think. I forget. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just
Marvel put theirs out first, and next month
Okay.
is DC one.
Okay, I see. Okay, yeah. This is the all right. So yeah, this is the one here that the moment you've been waiting for. Written by, as I get my window bigger here, we got Grant Morrison, got Scott Snyder, James Tynion IV, Joshua Williamson, Tom Taylor, Mariko Tamaki, and G. Willow Wilson. Art by Dan Mora, Hayden Sherman, Bruno Redondo, Amanda Connor, and Dennis Cowan. The Dark Knight and the Merc with a Mouth team up for an adventure so mind-bending you'll think you're in a dream. Brought to you by the legendary creators, which I just named everybody. It just goes on and on and on, but I'll most likely be getting all of the crossovers. As I mentioned at the top of the show, that at this time we won't be covering anything in the club discussion as we originally decided due to the lack of the digital version of these books. I assume that goes for all of the crossovers. That'll just be, we'll have to figure out. But yeah, so that is a bummer. But since I'm not reading much of Marvel DC in general, I think these are good ones that I'll dive into just to kind of get a little taste of this, especially for the crossover element. So, other than that, that's it for Marvel for me, as well as the other ones here. Yes.
I just want to give a mention out to one yet. I'm not getting it, but the movie preview looked really interesting. We got Predator Badlands, number one.
Oh, cool.
It's the official prequel done in collaboration with director Dan Trachtenberg to the new, eagerly anticipated film Predator Badlands is here. A young Yatua warrior is given a seemingly simple task by his father: retrieve a piece of technology from a derelict spaceship that crashed years ago. Inside, however, an ancient and deadly threat lies in wait. Now the predator will become the prey. If you haven't seen the preview yet, this is a young predator going to a certain planet, not Earth, to fight for his first time, something they do at a certain age. And when you see the preview, there's this robotic gal that has no legs that he meets up with and then picks it up and throws it around its back and goes on. And it really looks interesting. But now that I see it, this is a prequel, I might have to pick it up.
Yeah, I know the trailer for the new movie, which I think is November, if I'm not mistaken. I never got into the Predator stuff, but I'm excited to. That preview is going to give me enough time to go back and watch whatever movies and stuff. And
yeah, I didn't care for the Prey series and stuff like that, but yeah, that preview looked really good.
Yeah, my plan was to at least watch the Alien movies over again. I'd never been, I own them, but they've never been part of the lore. Like I love Star Wars and stuff, but just seeing that preview of the new movie and give me something to rewatch in the next month or two.
Yeah.
We will jump over to DC Comics. We can start with Katie. Anything from DC Comics?
I don't, but I am open to a club pick.
All right. Here's something that is probably going to be on both of the list for myself and Kirby. I just have to copy the description over to my other window. so I can talk about it. And this is called. Dun, 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 dun. Hold on. Scroll. And here it is. Harley and Ivy, Life and Crimes. Does that sound familiar, Kirby? If not, okay, here
Yeah.
we go. Okay. So this one is written and drawn by Erica Henderson of Squirrel Girl fame. So that got my attention right away and just had to add to the cart. Superstar Erica Henderson dives into the definitive origins of Harley and Ivy's relationship because you demanded it. A new series entirely about Harley and Ivy's relationship. Witness the entire story of the DCU's #1 criminal couple from the very start. All these words are kind of redundant of saying the same thing. Eisner Award-winning artist and writer Erica Henderson weaves the canonical story of how Ivy and Harley went from enemies to friends to lovers. See their first kiss, their first embrace, their first fight, and the first time Harley went to the bathroom with the door open in front of Ivy. That one is a joke. Jeez. You're gonna love. I don't believe it's a joke. You're gonna love the way this book makes you look. We guarantee it. I didn't read that preview prior, but Erica Henderson is all I needed to hit yes on that book. So yep, that is coming out. Harley and Ivy, Life and Crimes. Kirby, anything from DC?
Yeah. I like in the new DC Connect catalog. If you go to your shop, you can get them for free. They do have for the DCKO, they have the whole layout of who's fighting who and how it's going to break down, and then you can fill in the squares after each battle and see how it goes. The only problem I have with the volume 2 of the DCKO is I wanted to collect all the AEW covers for all the DCKO issues, but issue 2 has Plastic Man battling Lobo on the cover. It's like, oh, I got to get that one instead. It's like, so I don't want to pick up 2, but yeah, I'll just wait for the other one to be in a bargain bin sometime.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that event, but I saw pictures of those brackets. I think, oh yeah, Comic Skokie was posting pictures and stuff and encouraging people to fill out brackets and stuff. So,
And we all know what's going to happen. I mean, the way they have the bracket laid out and stuff, it's going to be end up being Batman against Superman in the end. Everybody's guessing again, but yeah, they got laid out pretty good like that.
so all right. And I didn't have anything else from DC, so I assume that's everything for all of us.
Well, Katie didn't have nothing then.
I don't believe so. No.
Okay,
No,
the
I
other
don't.
one.
So I had to do some car repairs that were very expensive. Not expecting, so a little bit pretty this time around.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The other one I have, or the only one I have that's a new one, is DC's I Saw My Uncle Kissing Santa Claus, #1.
Okay.
This is the holidays, a time for joy and togetherness, presents and carols, and emotions, drama, and chaos galore. Join our merry gang of heroes and villains as they navigate the highs and lows of holiday romance. Supergirl kicks off her winter vacation with a blind date. Galaxy tries and fails to clear her superhero schedule to spend Hanukkah with her sweetheart, and so much more. Warm up your winter with the collection of heartwarming and heart racing tales coming to the shelves this holiday season. But yeah, I like picking up at least one from each Marvel and DC holiday specials. So.
Cool. So yeah, that'll do it for DC. Let's jump over to Katie if you want anything from the Independents.
I do have one. So over at Image, I have Monstrous, the trade paperback, Volume 10. This is one of my favorite series. It is called Hollow Gods. honestly, we are pretty deep in the series, so I can't recommend, oh yeah, just pick it up, you'll catch up. But the series is really good, and they just put out volume 3 of, I think, the hardcover of the series, which if you want to catch up might be a more economical way to do it. So the preview for this is The Defiled, a group of monstra long confined to the prison planet Olga have slipped through a rift between worlds and possess anyone who has ever held the mask of the Shaman Empress, including Micah, Kippa, and Micah's father, the Lord Doctor. Without Zin at her side, Micah will need to partner with her most unlikely of allies to fight this invasion or risk losing everything that she loves. It's covering issues 55 through 60. It will be available on November 19th, and it costs regular price is $16.99, but if you pick it up at DCBS, they're offering it for $10 and change. Always look forward to this. The art is just absolutely stunning. If you like Saga, I think you'd really enjoy this. It's written by Marjorie Liu, and Sana Takeda does the art. That's volume 10 of Monstrous.
Cool. All right, first one from the Independents for me. Actually, I got a bunch of friends on this book. I assume it's pronounced Pecos Bill. Is that correct? Pecos Bill. Coming
Yes.
from friends Jay
You're right.
Hammond, Eric Marshall, and Matt Rogers, who does the lettering in the book. This here, from the mind of Jay Hammond, Pecos Bill and the Guns of Oz. Slingshots the legendary cowboy straight into a twisted magical version of Oz. You know the story. He lassoed a tornado and vanished. But what happened next? From gunslinging witches to outlaw flying monkeys, this warped western turns Oz into a wild new frontier where tall tales meet fairy tales. With a 6-shooter in each hand, saddle up, let's get weird. This title is for mature audiences. That just means that Jay Hammond and friends are going to write and draw the heck out of this book. Very much excited for this. Pecos Bill. And then Matt Rogers from Cartoonist by Night has a front page credit there as the letterer for this book. So it's cool to see him teaming up with our friend Eric Marshall, who worked on the Jungle Drama book, co-created that with Troy Dungara. Got Jay Hammond, who's worked with them in Keen Spot, and it's just cool to see a bunch of friends coming from all their different respective titles within that company and working on something brand new. So I am extremely excited for Pecos Bill and the Guns of Oz.
Another Santa one. We got I Saw Santa, a Spawn Universe Christmas story. This is going to be a 2-issue one, which is strange for a holiday one, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
This in the world of Spawn. But Santa gives presents to the good kids and a stocking full of coal to the bad kids. But what happens when one disturbed child takes offense to Santa's gift of coal and makes it his life's mission to torment jolly old Saint Nick for the rest of his life? Sam and Twitch discover the bodies, but only Spawn can put an end to it. Yeah, it'll be fun to see what characters pop up for those 2 issues. See what happens.
Excellent.
But I'd like to show the cover art for the one because it's got Santa coming into the house and there's a glass full of eyeballs and a plate full of ears and other things.
Beautiful. Katie, anything else from Independence at all?
No, I do not.
Okay, then we will ping pong back and forth for the rest of the list between myself and Kirby. This one I have a feeling I talked about before, but I think it was resolicited. Aw Nuts. This is a Paper Cuts graphic novel here. Something about, I can't read the full title on here because it's not listed and I can't see if the image blows up. Nope. The requested content cannot be loaded. Please try again later. These here featuring peanut and jelly. Every morsel falls into place with the Foodtopia pyramid. Well-peeled fancy folks reign from the toppings, average doughs make up the filling, and at the bottom, the odd foods out form the crumbs. This is where we find peanut and jelly. They may be lowly employees at the crumb dump for now, but these rider fries are determined to rise to the coveted upper crust. But when they accidentally unleash a crumb feeder into the city, their plans look shakier than the uneven souffle. This tale has stakes. That's pronounced. Okay, yep. Stakes, artichoke heart, and is ripe with comedy. Yep, there we go. But yeah, I am fairly certain I talked about this and pre-ordered in a previous catalog, but resolicited, so I'm excited to check out. Aw, nuts! And it's got another like subtitle, but the text is too small for me to read. So, okay, Kirby, next one for you.
I just realized I have another Marvel one that
Go for
I
it.
don't know. It must not have been in the Marvel catalog itself, or I bypassed it or something. But Meals to Astonish, number one,
Oh yeah.
dying into a brand new adventure. Daily Bugle food critic Chet Chakowski and intrepid photographer Peter Parker are headed downtown for the opening of a brand new world class restaurant. But when Rhino interrupts the festivities,
Oh boy.
it's up to Spider Man and his friends to save the day and their dinner. Also, Jeff's Table debuts.
Oh,
This issue also collects the Test Kitchen Infinity comic in print for the first time. Yeah, that's where I'm getting my Jeff for the holidays stuff.
yeah, that sounds familiar. And I was trying to remember if I've read that on their service or not, because some of that sounds familiar. But yeah,
Yep.
plus Rhino included in there. So,
Yeah, I'm loving how much Rhino I'm getting this year.
all right. Next up for me, you could have told me this happened already, and it can convince me that it did. But because these both of these characters have crossed over with other characters and franchises and publishers, but this time we're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Godzilla. Yes, there it is. We have the heroes in a half shell are taking on the King of Monsters. Long before the organization was corrupted by Shredder, the Foot Clan's original purpose was to save Japan from kaiju. Now, in the present day, Godzilla and its fellow monsters have reappeared. Not only is the Foot not prepared to stop them, it would seem Shredder himself is behind the attacks. The villainous ninjas attempted to use the kaiju to create a new mutagen, one that would give his henchmen a massive upgrade. Can the Turtles make it to Japan in time to stop this madness? Join superstar writer Tim Seeley, that's an extra bonus right there, and incredible artist Pharaoh Pei from Night Watcher and the Turtles Stranger Things crossover in the biggest crossover of the year. So, like I said, both of these franchises have done many different crossovers. So you could have said this was the second round of it, and I would have believed you. And maybe it is. I don't know, but I think this is the first time that these characters are colliding. Regardless, I'm buying it because all of these books seem to be pretty fun. So, assuming it's a mini series, 5 or 6 issues, I'm on board.
Yeah,
Kirby?
I'm getting at least the first one, but with Tim Seeley, I'll probably get everyone.
Yep.
No, it's going to be really good. All right, I got Vampirella Holiday 2025 special number one. I saw a Vampy biting Santa Claus. In the aftermath of last year's North Pole shenanigans, Vampirella finds herself facing off against the spirits of every major holiday that the calendar has to offer, all determined to thwart her magnanimous mission to make the winter solstice season magical once more. Jolly old soul Frank Thierry serves up a bowl full of holiday cheer in the Vampirella Holiday 2025 special, illustrated by overworked elf Mariano Benitez Chapo, and capped off with frantically festive covers from Joseph Michael Lisner, Selena, and cosplay by Rachel Holland, which I actually have a friend now that's friends with her.
Hmm.
So now I want to pick up more of her covers. But yeah, it's another holiday one I'm picking up. It's pretty much all holidays for my new books this year.
Fair enough. I have one more that I'm having difficulty bringing up the synopsis for, but I think I can talk about it without it. We are talking about Zor Saves Christmas. Zor is a title. I think I talked about the first issue on this podcast. I've read the first couple issues. I don't know if I have them all yet. So I've been reading kind of sporadically, but Zor Saves Christmas, a Christmas special, also has a variant cover from our friend Troy Dungara. So that's definitely on my list there. I didn't even know about that one. Troy doesn't always talk about everything that he does, and sometimes we look at the catalog, and all of a sudden it's like, "Hey, how come you didn't mention this?" So it's always fun to see his name pop up when even I didn't even know about it. But so yeah, Zord Saves Christmas, a Christmas special there. So regardless if I'm caught up or I've got plenty of time now to probably get an extra issue or two to get caught up. But yeah, Zora was a fun little character that was. I think like something was lost down the drain,
I got the synopsis here if you want me to
oh
read it, 'cause
yeah
that
yeah
was
yeah
my final pick too.
cool.
So, 'cause I'm definitely picking that up. As seen in Free Comic Book Day 2025 special, Teen Spot Toyland or Toy Box, little Zoe Richardson tends to lose things, and her trip to meet Santa is no different. She lost her ticket to see him. But have no fear. Zoe's magical friend, made from her teardrops, Zor, is back and ready for another wonderful adventure to save the holiday. This epic all ages Christmas tale takes place inside a bustling shopping mall and stars the littlest hero of them all, Zor. This is a Keen Spot publication. That was my final pick I had too, and I just wanted to give a mention. Mark Spears is going crazy. Another Keen Spot comic, but he's got the Monsters blind bags coming out in this catalog, and the next catalog has another type of Mark Spears blind bag coming out. So they're gonna have lots of special covers. I know this first one basically sold out instantly, and he already printed like 150 new different covers to go with it so they can make up more blind bags. So yeah, I'm really curious what's going to be in there. I picked up 3 of them. So,
Cool. All right. Well, that is going to do it. We barely scratched the surface. I always recommend going to your local comic book shop or your preferred online retailer if you don't have one near you to check out the previews catalog. And so, yeah, that is going to do it for the news segment. And that is going to do it for this episode. Some quick plugs: crimsoncowlcomics.com for info and original webcomics. If you want to purchase some of the brand new comics that have come out, David Gloyd, owner of Crimson Cowl Media. I've got a copy of his new book right here, The Raving Mad Super Guys Super Spectacular. You can go to crimsoncowl.com for info on the 30-year journey that this character has taken. And if you'd like to purchase that, you can always either comment on the videos or email David directly with crimsoncowlcomics@gmail.com. And that will include issues of his past comics, which are Tales from the North. And we've got another one from the beginning of this year, which was Grave Sweeper's Spooky Stories. And then I assume he is in possession of the copies of the Comic Book Club Presents the hall monitors. So the one he did with his the school comic book club that he runs. So yeah, all that stuff. If you're ever interested, reach out to us in the comments and him on social media. All those links are in the YouTube notes. Otherwise, crimsoncowlcomics@gmail.com. Listen to the show, Crimson Cowl Comic Club, over on iTunes. If you want the full experience, then you go over to the video version that is over on YouTube. Like, subscribe, rate, review, comment, share, all of that fun stuff. Let's see here. Kirby, you have Under the Cowl of MS, if you want to let people know what's been going on over there.
yeah, got lots more unboxings, reviews, some unpacking my life, showing off stuff as I unbox it in our new place. And also been Mondays at 5 p.m. Central Time. You can catch us on Psychotronic Squirt Guns channel if you want to come and check out a comic book flame sale, you can get free shipping and stuff. We got comics from 50 cents up to who knows how much on there, and lots of fun. So check that out. And I have been adding more live shows that I've been doing with some friends in my live folder. So
Cool. So yeah, definitely subscribe to Under the Cowl of MS over on YouTube and all the social media platforms to get all of that stuff. I've got 3 comic books out there from the Rice Christopher series. Got Rice Christopher the Wednesday afternoon special. We have Rice Christopher the Pineapple Holiday special, and the most recent release is Rice Christopher the Canadian. Oh, never mind, Crispy Canadian special. It's brand new. Give me a time. Give me some time to remember the title of my own comic book. But yeah, those books are out there. Fun all ages adventures. You can read them in any order. Just reach out to me. Once again, comment, blah, blah, blah. Or email latchkeykid@gmail.com. LAATSCH, latchkeykid@gmail.com, and we could ship those out to you. I have artist accounts over on Facebook and Instagram. Now that I've wrapped up this recent comic book, I'm taking a break from making some new comics. I'm going to start in the new year for that. But in the meantime, I'm going to start doing more posting drawings, which don't really happen while the comics are being made. So I've been getting back into the groove of drawing more physical sketch cards and doodles and such like that. So definitely go to the artist accounts to check that out. I have an event coming up in November. This is the 2nd annual Warrior Con. This is run by my friend Bernie over at Oh Yeah Comics in beautiful downtown Skokie. So, looking at ignore the 2 months away thing because the time's just gonna get closer and closer. But Saturday, November 22nd from 10 to 5. This is in Des Plaines, Illinois. We have actually a lot of superstar creators that are joining us for the Warrior Con. We're looking at Philip Kennedy Johnson, Tim Seeley, Dave Scheid, Scoot McMahon, Justin Castaneda, Mike Norton, Art Baltazar, Gavin Smith, Mary Shine, and that's not all, because we're also going to have Kevin Bixby, Brian Bradley, Emmy Brown, Joe Crone, Paul, I haven't met him, but Zarnowski, John Dudley, Kyle Fenrick, Minerva Fox, Ginger Hosley. We have Brett Giuliano. We have some guy named Anthony Laatsch. Yes, Anthony Laatsch is going to be there. We have Lavi HQ, Brian Lynch, Leo Mancini, Laura. I didn't pre-screen any of these names. Mukarin, Chris O'Connell, Reese Porter, Rye Bread Creations, Amanda Snyder, Strange Deer, The Chalk Girl. Chalk Girl's awesome. Daryl Young. All those other people are awesome too. And then I have one more slide here for the information. Chicagoland's newest and bestest comic book and collectible show. Meet creators, artists, panels. Panels. I didn't know there was going to be panels this year. So yeah, Bernie's definitely bringing it up. I don't know if I'm doing a panel. I should really find that out.
You are now.
Costume contest for kids, raffle prizes, concessions. Get this show in your calendar now. Saturday, November 22nd, 10 to 5 in Des Plaines, Illinois at the Maine West High School. So yeah, what's cool about this, when we did it the first time, it was real kind of bare bones, kind of like just a group of us artist friends that were all there and a bunch of vendors and everything in the high school that Bernie teaches at. All of the funds that and all the proceeds that they got from the admissions and the vendor tables and concessions, all that went back into their arts program at their high school. And I was very excited to see that it was successful enough to do another round, and especially now bringing in a lot of these big names that people are currently working with. Some of them we've mentioned from the catalog with Tim Seeley and stuff. So this one, each show is always special and fun and super exciting. This one is the first time that I will be on the same billing as Marvel and DC people, and it's definitely thanks to my friend Bernie and everybody else, with it being kind of a local production. But it'll be kind of cool to kind of be on that same kind of billing. And the only downside is that they're going to be bringing all their cool professional published stuff and their original artwork, and then I have to now rely on people to save $5 so they can buy a copy of the Pineapple Holiday Special. So don't spend all your money on Tim Seeley, but save it for some of us other guys too. But it's going to be super fun. I'm super excited. It's Art Baltazar said it best last year that it just felt like it was a family barbecue because we're all just like hanging out, talking and slinging art and stuff. So yeah, that is will be promoted up until Saturday, November 22nd, and all that information and graphics should be included with the video version of the YouTube to see all of that. Okay, I think that covers. Oh yeah, Cartoonist by Night, real quick. Latest episodes, we had Philip A. Buck, cartoonist extraordinaire. We're talking about slapstick chase cartoons, and the most recent episode was D. Parson, aka Super D, as he was talking about. We were all talking and drawing syndicated comic strips because D. Parson himself is an actual syndicated comic creator. So he's in the newspapers as the creator of Rosebuds. So that was the most recent episode. It was fun to get him on the show because I got a message in the Cartoonist by Night inbox that said, "Hey, I watch your show. I check it out. I love it. Hey, you mind having me on sometime?" And I was looking and being like, "Oh, this is a syndicated cartoon artist with, X amount of followers, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, it was pretty cool to kind of have that experience of somebody reaching out to us to want to be on the show, especially somebody at his very successful caliber in his career. So that episode turned out great. D. Parson, check that out. Cartoonist by Night, a drawing show over on YouTube. That is going to do it then for all of the plugs. My phone just went off, so I have to go check my beeper in case the apocalypse comes.
I've been eating peanuts and beetles with Space Ghosts and Friends.
And I've been a summer Yeti.
To be continued.